We are talking about the 2025 NBA draft coming up on today's show. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome into the Bulls Report. And on today's show, we're going to be going over 10 draft targets for the Chicago Bulls in the 2025 NBA draft. This is a massive draft for us Bulls fans, as you got the chance to potentially land one of the most generational prospects ever in Cooper Flagg, if obviously the lottery balls go your way. But speaking about the lottery, if you guys want the Bulls to win it, get the good mojo headed our way. Hit that thumbs up icon. Not a huge superstitious guy, but hey, I'll take all the good vibes we can get heading in the direction of the Bulls potentially winning the draft lottery. So if you guys want the Bulls to win it, go down there and hit that thumbs up button. All right, let's dive into the first draft target here for the Chicago Bulls, and that being the Duke phenom, freshman phenom, Cooper Flagg. Now, this guy is truly generational. He has completely lived up to the hype. His freshman year playing for the Blue Devils, 6'10", point forward mold, has okay handle, but we've definitely seen an increase in his handle over the course of his freshman campaign, and his raw numbers are ridiculous. The guy's already averaging almost 20 points a night, 7.7 rebounds, and 4 assists, being very efficient from the field and from beyond the arc as well. But the thing I love the most about Flagg is, he truly just plays the game the right way. Like, he's not a guy where, like, his numbers are just him, taking bad shots on a bad team. Like, he is impacting winning at the highest level. And, he is a point forward in that mold, and I truly think he is a generational prospect. Like, he is up there with the Cade Cunninghams, the Victor Wembanyama's. He is that good playing the game of basketball. And, my take here, my little message to the NBA, ratings are down this year. That's undisputed. Send Flagg to Chicago. That'll fix the ratings in a heartbeat. Like, could you imagine Cooper Flagg and the Chicago Bulls making their debut NBA opening night next season? Like, that would be a true movie for us Bulls fans. And then plus, you'd have all the good teams or all the big market NBA teams relevant. Like, the Bulls would have Flagg. The Celtics are good. The Knicks are good. The Lakers are good. All these true blue blood franchises in the NBA would be awesome. But Flagg is prospect. I mean, not much to say about him. He can do it all out there on the basketball court. Also love his defensive intensity. Just truly one of my favorite players I've ever watched play the game of college basketball. But let's get into Dylan Harper here, actually son of Ron Harper, Bulls legend, and this guy is one of the most smooth players I've ever seen, considering he's a freshman. Like, he is a complete game. Super smooth with the basketball in his hand. He can navigate the pick and roll at a very, very high level. And this freshman year at Rutgers, he's awesome. I mean, the raw numbers are great, almost averaging 20 points a night as well, 4.7 assists, 4 assists per game, and his field goal percentage is sitting at 47.7% from the field. But when I watch Dylan Harper's game, I can't really think of a true pro comp for him. Like, he kind of reminds me of like a Jalen Brunson type of guard, but he's more of a scorer than Brunson was at the college level. Now, Brunson still averaged almost 20 points a game, but, he was playing more of a, complete team style of play. But Dylan Harper, I mean, the man can score at all three levels. He's got a great floater game. He's great at using his body, getting the defender on his hip, and he can kind of shield them off with his kind of thick shoulders that he has. He's another great player. Now, also on Dylan Harper, let's just say the Bulls do get like the second or third pick in the draft. I say you let Giddey walk and you just say, hey, Dylan Harper, you're the point guard of the future. But, his teammate at Rutgers, Ace Bailey. Now, this guy was projected to be the second pick in the draft. Now, over the last couple of months, he's fallen. I've seen him, mocked around the fourth or fifth guy taken. But this dude, he is a polarizing prospect. Like, his max potential, he really reminds me of like a juiced up Paul George. He is a freak athlete. He's got a super smooth jump shot. Now, is he a playmaker at that wing spot? Absolutely not. He wants the ball in his hands. He's trying to go give you 30 on any given night, but he's got great size. I would like to see some more defensive intensity from him since he does have the physical attributes to do so. But could you imagine a Ace Bailey, Modest Buzelis wing combo? Like, that would be awesome. Like, you could almost try to take a page out of the Celtics playbook when they had Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, drafted both those guys and built around those two as being like your foundational pieces to turn that franchise around. Like, I could see the Bulls almost taking the same mindset there where it's like, hey, we got Modest, he looks legit, then let's go get a wing next to him. You would be able to guard multiple positions with two defenders. I like the idea of Ace Bailey becoming a Bull. But a guy I love also in this class, and why I was also so massive on the Bulls getting their protections off next year's pick, is because this class is deep and it is a ton of top-end talent. And shooting guard from Baylor, VJ Edgecombe. This guy is a freak athlete. You go turn on the tape, this dude is jumping out of the gym. He's trying to dunk on you every single time he hits the paint, and he's having a good year for Baylor. 15 points, 5.2 boards. Love his intensity. It seems like he is a guy where it's like, hey, if there's a 50-50 ball on the ground, he is making sure that is his basketball. But he's shooting 44.8% from the field. And when I was trying to think of pro comps for these guys, it was tough coming up with a lot of these, but the easiest one I had for VJ Edgecombe is actually NBA legend Vince Carter. Like, he moves like him. He jumps like him. He's the athlete that Vince Carter was. And also just seeing the creativity he has with his dunks when he's in pregame warmups really does remind me of Vince. Obviously one of the best dunk contest dunkers we have ever seen, but he is true in that shooting guard mold, kind of like that Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter style player. I think he would be an awesome pickup for the Bulls. But another Duke guy here. You got two Duke guys, two Rutgers guys in the top 5, probably heading to the NBA draft. Now, Con Kneppel, he could also head back to college. I think there's a possibility there, but he could play some point guard. He could play some shooting guard in the NBA, and he is just a very, very solid basketball player. He's a very self-aware basketball player. He never tries to do too much. He plays within himself, and he's averaging 13 points a night, 3.8 rebounds, 2.4 assists on a Duke team, which is absolutely loaded this season. Like, they got good veterans in Proctor. They obviously got Cooper Flagg and Malawak, which we'll talk about in a second, the big man they're playing with. But he kind of reminds me, and this might just be, white guard that I see coming out. I think of another white guard in the NBA, like an Austin Reeves, but he reminds me of a juiced-up Austin Reeves. And the main kind of comparison I can make in their style of play is how they both navigate the pick and roll. They are fantastic at getting to that snake dribble, having the defense collapse on them, and then they can either use the angles very well, get to that pull-up jumper, or just a quick spray out to a guy for a wide open 3. Now, would the Bulls go this direction in the first round, considering how many guards they have? I do not know, but that's also why I want the Bulls to not be so, locked down to Josh Giddey. I understand you gave up Alex Caruso for him, but you don't just have to extend him just because you traded Caruso for him. Like, you got to evaluate him. Can he be a true starting point guard on a championship team? I still have a massive question mark on that, and with how good these guys are coming out this year, I don't know, something the Bulls are going to have to consider. But we'll get to 5 more names here in a second. But first, name a player the Bulls need to draft. Who is your dream draft target right now? I'll challenge you guys. How about this? You can't say Cooper Flagg. But besides Flagg, name a player the Chicago Bulls absolutely need to draft in the 2025 NBA draft. Now, we'll get to 5 more prospects here in a second. But first, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, if you guys download the PrizePicks app today and plug in that promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today, plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. What is PrizePicks? Well, it's the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. It's simple. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Now, a lot of these Bulls games down the stretch of the season, there are going to be a lot of blowouts. So if you guys want to have something to watch throughout the entire event, creating a PrizePicks lineup is a great way to do so. It just increases your viewing experience, and also you got a chance to put some cash in your back pocket. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Plug in promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game. Now, a guy from Duke as well who would be a perfect just filling a need type of pick for the Bulls, and that's Kamen Malawak. Now, he is an absolute freak athlete. He's 7'2". He's a true center. Kind of reminds me of that Clint Capella type of mold where, he's a great lob threat and he can protect the rim. But I actually thought ESPN wrote a pretty cool article talking about Malawak and his game, saying Malawak has been a rock for Duke, anchoring one of college basketball's best defenses with a 7'6" wingspan, nonstop intensity, and rim protection prowess. He plays his role cleanly and efficiently for the Blue Devils, bringing vertical pick-and-roll spacing, offensive rebounding, and a serious-minded, mature approach despite his lack of previous experience. Malawak isn't exceptionally skilled or polished. His ability to stay out of foul trouble, minimizes mistakes, and contribute offensively in Duke's biggest games will be an important barometer for his NBA readiness and help to determine how high he gets drafted in June. But I think with the style and the archetype of big that Malawak is, He's a perfect fit for the Bulls, and you feel a massive need because this is something the Bulls haven't had in a while. Like obviously with Vooch being the center spot, an offensive-minded big, you don't really have that anchor on the back of your defense. But if you would draft a guy like Malawak, potentially at pick 7, pick 8, which where the Bulls are slated right now, I think it would be a perfect pickup. Also, he's got all types of potential. But if you could have a guy who's just going to average 16 and 10, be an anchor for your defense, that's another great building block for the Bulls in the future. But some guys that the Bulls could take if they do get kind of gypped in the NBA draft lottery. We're going to start off with BYU guard here, Igor Demon, excuse me. This guy's got a super smooth game. He's got a super smooth jump shot as well. He's kind of got that Trey Murphy release to him where he just gets that high release point, and then he's just seeing back iron once he get there. But his scouting report, he's 6'9", 190 pounds, so a little light, but he does have a wingspan of 6'11". And, he's more of an offensive-minded wing. And I think if you had the yin and yang of him and Buzelis, where Buzelis, like, he will kind of rely on his defense throughout his NBA career, where Demin, he will probably rely on his offensive game. I like that combination at the 3 and 4, or potentially the 2 and 3 for the Chicago Bulls. But another point guard here, a polarizing prospect from Oklahoma, Jeremiah Fears. This dude, he takes a lot of shots. He takes a lot of bad shots, but he also makes a lot of bad shots. This dude has the ball in his hand more than any player in college basketball, it seems like. But here's the scouting report on him. So he is 6'3", 182 pounds. His wingspan is 6'3" as well, and his usage rate is actually the 4th highest out of all SEC players at 30.8%. But he's got a great assist percentage, 6th in the SEC, 28.4 points produced, 383, 5th in the SEC. Got a good steal percentage, but he does turn over the basketball a whole lot. 87 turnovers on the year, which is the most in the SEC. But again, this is a guy, let's say the Bulls get pick number 10. I don't know if they would go another guard, depending on what the moves they make this offseason. Like, could they trade Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, or could they let Josh Giddey walk? Like, that's going to be a big kind of question that needs to be answered if the Bulls are going to target guard this season, but he would be a good pickup as well. But another center that I would love, and this would be a guy if the Bulls do get, like let's say a 13th, 14th pick in the draft, Derek Queen. This dude's a stud. I honestly expect him to fly up draft boards as we get close to the draft time because he is a massive, massive human being, and he is extremely, extremely skilled. And he's having a great season for Maryland. 16 points a game, 8.4 rebounds, actually has some playmaking ability, 2.1 assists. Like, if he gets the ball in that low block and he gets double-teamed, he is a willing passer out of that position. But field goal percentage, 54.9. But when I was just throwing out his tape, man, this guy – extremely skilled, big, has a physical kind of attitude when he's out there on the basketball court. And, he's a guy where you could almost run him at the top of the key, and he can be a playmaker over there. And he crashes the boards extremely, extremely well. So watch out for him if the Bulls end up getting like the 14th or 15th pick in the draft. But another guy that you could take at the back end of the lottery, how about a Trey Johnson, freshman guard from Texas. Now, this guy, kind of similar to Fears. He's a bad shot taker, bad shot maker. His shot diet is a little questionable at times, but he's putting up a lot of production at Texas during his freshman campaign. Texas not as good as a lot of people would have thought heading into the season, but almost averaging 20 points a night, 3.2 boards, 2.6 assists, and 43.8% from the field. But this guy, like, when I'm thinking about his like pro comp here, it's kind of in like that like Lou Will style of guard where it's like, hey, I'm going to come off the bench and I'm going to give you buckets. Kind of reminds me of Rob Dillingham that was drafted this past season where it's like, hey, if he's a 6-man and all he has to do is focus on scoring, he will do that at a very high level. But if you ask him to play a team-style game, play on both sides of the floor, have question marks there. But those are 10 guys that the Bulls could potentially draft this next upcoming draft. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a C red down below in the comments section. Let me know where all the real ones are at. Just wanted to get up on here and dive through 10 prospects that the Bulls could draft. So if you guys watch this whole thing, give me a C red down below. And also make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. That's a link at the bottom of your screen right now. Hit that sub button, lock us in. We'll see you guys next time. Go Bulls.